Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. The Hoop Talk Team Summer Vacation Edition, man. The Ox League just concluded. The champions have just been crowned, and we're going to do one last Ox League episode for the season. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the Stampede versus Death Star. It was 2 rounds of playoff action on the last day of the Ox League. So we're going to go ahead and talk through it, give our take, give our opinions, use some props apparently that I was not prepared for. But let's get right into it, y'all. Ox League, final week, championship rounds. What are you guys' thoughts? What were your highlights? What were your lowlights?
Um, I mean, I thought that the Stampedes and the Duck had the championship game right then and there. It was really high intense. It was back and forth. I don't think the Ducks were able to kind of execute on offense like they wanted to. Um, they were, to me, they were standing a lot around the perimeter. They should have set picks, down screens, things like that to help Rick with actions to help him pass off that post. Rick's had a phenomenal game. I haven't got to see the stats, or nobody has yet, but I'm pretty sure he had close to almost 30 points. Uh, Overall, though, when it comes to the intensity of that game, it's been the Stampede's guard play on defense. Their guards can switch to the bigger man, block shots, hold their own for a possession or two against a bigger defender. When things like that happen, and your guard can guard a center for a possession or two, that those are key moments in the game for 6 or 4 points that a center can score. And when he doesn't do that, it looks bad. So yeah, I just overall that Stampedes and Doug game was to me phenomenal. It was a chess match. Not everybody was there for the Ducks, but regardless, it was fun. Funnest game.
think I think B Harden kind of soured everyone from last week when he was right because everyone was mad at him that game. But
Yeah,
I mean, the real issue that I noticed is, and I wasn't there obviously, so I'm talking about watching video. Like, bro, the Stampede guards are kind of big. They're like big body. Like obviously we talk about Jalen, he's big, but Trey's also big himself. And you're going against a team that kind of has a smaller backcourt with Ethan and Smooth. Like it does impact. And I mean they are stronger people, but still like they have the size and they're also a little
agile.
bit fine. Like that's kind of tough to deal with, and we saw it. And I didn't get to be there to watch the full thing, but that definitely hurt them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a battle of athleticism versus non-athleticism because you have your center, being an unathletic center. You have your point guard who's an unathletic point guard. It's tough to kind of match up in this type of league where it's a running clock or well in this case it was a stopping clock, but a shorter game and people are more accustomed to just fast breaking over and over again. There's always a bad pass, always a turnover. Next thing you know, this team's in transition. The next team's in transition again, and it's like I think that's where things kind of got hard for them. They just couldn't keep up with the transition basketball. It was a more entertaining game for sure than the last game. I agree with that. But I mean, to me, the what do you call it? The Stampede were for the most part of the game pretty decisively winning that. The Ducks finally got it within two.
hmm
They tied it technically speaking, but there was a call made that did not result in those 2 points being counted. But they aside from them bringing it that close, they kind of lost that pretty fast. So it's like they got it within two, and then within a couple possessions, they were now down by 8 again, and then next thing you know, they're down by double digits. So like. It was a more exciting game just because Jerome, he talked his shit. The benches were talking hella shit back and forth, and that's where we could hear the most. And you might even be able to hear it in the camera. So it was a more exciting game, but I thought the Stampede were pretty decisively winning that game from beginning to end, aside from that 5 minute spurt where the Ducks got it within those 2 points, and then that was pretty much it. That didn't last at all.
yeah.
So it was a little disappointing to see the Ducks go down like that. I did have the Ducks winning, but the Stampede winning is not an outrageous take. I mean, they were neck
Uh,
and neck for the most part. Stampede maybe lost one more game than they should have, at best. But it was a good game. It was a good game. I can't say the same for the championship game. Cannot.
yeah. I'll say the same thing too. Tyler, pull it out. Tyler, pull it out. Tyler.
we had the belts. I thought we were talking about belt ass. What happened? What the fuck happened?
If
Bro,
anybody,
what happened?
if
I
anybody
wasn't
got,
there.
if anybody got belt to ass, it was definitely Death Star, man. They got massacred from beginning to end.
Yeah.
What happened, bro? Give me the story of the game.
Jalen happened. Jalen went berserk. That man went from playing
he
a
did.
full length game to going off 4 threes back to back to back to back. I think like in the second quarter, I think it was the
Scored,
second
like,
quarter.
four
Crazy.
three.
It was insane. Then he had his dunks. Then it was just he went crazy. He had to have had
Jalen
at least
show.
30.
Yeah. These last
Are
2
we now
weeks have been
seeing-
the Jalen show. Go ahead, Tom.
Are we seeing that the games that Jalen normally plays are maybe those the warm up games, and he's just getting ready? He's getting into playing form for the second game.
He's
That was the secret the whole time.
Yeah, he's uber conditioned. I mean, we see Jalen. We have his Instagram. All of us, I think. He's worries about his body before he gets to any league. I've always seen him stretch, use the gun on his muscles. Like he's really big on prep. He's one of those guys that I kind of like. I look at him like, okay, he knows what he's doing. He's really in tune with his body, and it shows how athletic he is and how athletic he's carried. Like it looks like all the time. It's like it's not mishaps. Those dunks are all coordinated and calculated. His explosion is pro level, I think, in my eyes. I think beyond that, I think he's insane, bro. And to be honest, really, it was his defense more than anything. He was playing great defense. He was a leader for the Stampede once they introduced him because he wasn't there the first week, I'm pretty sure, or the second week, I'm not sure. So he was regardless. I mean, he led that team, and that team had some characters. They had some very loud people, some people who had sometimes controlling their own emotions. So he led that team by just kind of like the KD
I'm on a
style,
call.
within like just letting his gameplay do the talking, and that's always been him. He's not a big talker. He doesn't talk shit. For the first time, he told me, "You better talk about me on the podcast," and that was last week. And he's never done that. And we've known now Jalen for almost over a year, watching him in different leagues. He's a very, very humble guy. So I definitely want to stamp him. For the last 2 weeks, it's been his show. It's been his whole league the last 2 weeks. You got to shout that out for sure.
I agree. What about some other people on the team? What about like Trey, number 3? What about 21, the short king?
The
person-
Their starting point guard is the best defending point guard in the league. I don't think there's a better defender in the league at guard than him. I stand by that. With Trey, is it Trey? Trey's 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trey's there. Yeah. He's probably the best defender, on ball defender I've seen in the league.
I'd say he's up there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could see that, I guess. But I was gonna say number 10, Aaron Person. He had a really good game. I think he had a really good both games. His mid range is crazy, bro. That mid range is crazy. He does not miss that mid range
He's
shot.
money, bro.
He does
He's
not.
Number 10.
He does
Yeah.
not
He's
miss.
money.
Yeah, he does not
And
miss
he's
that mid range
athletic.
shot.
He's nice, but beyond the arc, he's nice too, though.
Yeah, he was knocking some
I
threes
would
down.
say he's their best shooter.
But he was primarily shooting from mid range as he typically does, and he was going crazy for sure. He's definitely really good. I think he did knock down a 3 or 2, but yeah, that mid range, man, and the bench was saying it, like I don't think he's missed, and yeah, I don't feel like he's missed either. But even though Death Star, just to segue off to give them a little bit of clout as well, even though Death Star did, get demolished, it got a lot of belt to ass. I will say they did, put together some interesting moments here and there. We did tell Nigel to take the flashy pass button off of his controller, but I think his finger was stuck on the flashy pass controller.
Right.
I think he was having some sort of seizure on his thumb, and it was just constantly pressing flashy pass. I'm like, what in the hell is going on, bro? But let me tell you, he got me off my seat a couple times. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. But some of them were not supposed to go through. And the basketball gods knew it because they made the players miss the shot. I was like, you were never supposed to make that pass go through, young fella. You were never supposed to make that happen.
That's the story of his season. That's what he does all season. Half the time he'll be making the craziest pass, and you got someone breaking it. But like, if this is NBA, he would be Chris Paul right now.
You'd
That'd
be
Chris Paul.
You'd be
100%.
flabbergasted if you were to see how many times that man pressed that flashy pass button. You'd be flabbergasted.
Tyler, he hit a spin move into another spin move between spin move and passed it like
What the fuck?
halfway into another spin move, and the dude missed it. But all I hear
Ah.
is Nas. All I hear is Nas go, oh! Nas went
Wait, who missed
crazy,
it
but
though? Who
he
sold?
had like 7 or 8 passes that everybody on the sideline didn't say shit. Everybody's
Damn,
mouth was
bro.
dropped. They were great passes though. Like they got there. It wasn't a bad pass. They were hitting people in their chest or where they could score the ball. People were just missing shots.
Every
They were
single
not bad.
every
That's
single
what
pass
happened
was
this year.
caught. That's the crazy thing. Every single
Yeah.
pass was caught.
Every
And they
song.
just missed.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a whole lot of turnovers. So like we joke about it like the flashy pass. He didn't get a whole lot of turnovers this year. I think the issue is people just not hitting shots.
Yeah. Definitely.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, that's why they lost.
Crazy.
No, that was insane. That was the one thing that I'll say stood out from Death Star. Even though they had their woes, that was definitely highlight after highlight after highlight. I don't think they ever really had a moment where they got close. But I'm gonna have to go segue back to the Stampede because I feel like another player also deserves some credit for that last game. He was talking his shit the first game, but in my personal opinion, he wasn't doing shit. He had moments though.
I know who you're talking about.
People, we don't have advanced analytics. But if we did take the time out to review that first game versus the Ducks, I am willing to put my money that Jerome's field goal percentage versus Hosea was not good. And people don't realize that because Jerome probably had 20, right? But he was not scoring those 20 on Hosea. That I don't think a lot of people that were watching that game or that were there that night were noticing that was happening. But because they were how Hosea is, that people laugh and people joke and people poke fun because of
Extra emotional.
he be airballing layups and floaters all the time, like
Yeah,
well deserved. Well deserved, well deserved. He'd be having his moments, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I genuinely do believe if we were to take out the time to do some advanced analytics and really found out how many shots were attempted by Ricks on Hosea, I do believe he would have shot below 45%. I do believe that 100%.
Listen, if you ask, I can make it happen. If you want, if somebody in the Ox League sends a quick DM to a legend, we can look up anything. We just have to
Those
have
guys
a
probably going to send you that
Excuse me.
DM. I'm not going to lie.
Because no, he kind of deserves it because he's kind of had like a down season because everyone was just talking shit about him all season. Like even on the
Yeah.
team, hey, he's
But-
not a bad defender.
But that's not
Not a bad
even.
defender.
I just wanted to mention that really quick. That's not even what I wanted to give him props for. He had a very good championship game. That's what I wanted to give him props for. He had a very
Super
good.
fast.
He had to score a solid 10 to 12 points. His playmaking was very solid and very high IQ.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. He didn't. If we do the stats, he probably didn't have 5 or 6 assists. But because he wasn't passing like that. But like just. We're high basketball minds. We understand the game. You know what I mean? So when you watch how he's putting himself in positions to make that extra pass, I've never seen that out of Hosea. Or maybe I just never paid attention. I could be wrong. Shit, who knows?
Yeah.
But his IQ from a passing perspective, that second game, that championship game, really stood out. He had to have at least 12 points, I would say, because he was getting the ball in the hoop pretty consistently.
Yeah.
He had 3 different fast break coast-to-coast layups.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
3 different coast to coast layups. So like, I'm one of those people that poke fun at him, and he can't be shading me for it because he has to watch the tape. It's easy to poke fun. You know what I mean? Watch the tape, you'll understand. But I'll give him his flowers on this one. His defense was very good. Not elite. I don't think he was locking people down, but like he played very good hustle type of game. He got really good boards, et cetera, et cetera. And then his second game was great. I think his second game was phenomenal. He gave me that TJ McConnell in the finals vibe, that role player that stepped up and did something that you don't anticipate your role player to do. You know what I mean?
I believe you too.
Yeah. He that team already is very hype. He really like pushes that shit over the edge when it comes to the intangibles. He was the only one really talking back to Rick like crazy. Like Rick was talking crazy, but he made it sure that today was his day. He said it. He said it from the beginning. I'm locking him down. I'm guarding him. And if we're looking at the play-by-play, him versus Rick's, I got to give Nas that he did pretty good, and it wasn't the fact that he was. I mean, he was stopping him. Obviously, the ball didn't go in the basket, but it was the fact that he wanted to be there. He elected the physicalness. He came. He wanted it, and I got to give Nas that. Even some plays like the coast to coast, he was looking for a guard. There was three guards back. He saw a wide open lane, and he made a smart decision. Ricks was not coming back. He slid. Even the second game against the Death Star, same situation. The big man's slow. He's fast. He can dribble enough to get to the basket and make a layup, and that's what he did. And it was off. It was kind of like on that Draymond. I mean, I hate to say it, but like kind of the same Draymond vibe, where Draymond's not the fastest, but if he sees an open lane, he's gonna dart to it and try to make that layup. And he did make some good passes. He had a really good cross-court pass from the free throw line. He hit the goggles after it. It was a clean pass. I even thought, like, okay, that's a good pass. He picked the rotating man came to him. He had two people on him, and he swung it to the right corner. So there was some passes that he made was good. He was a lot of their intangibles and energy at the end of the day. And I gotta agree with Nas. He kind of gave him that battery pack. And on top of that, you have Jalen, who's already hype. You got the two guards, the two shorter guards who are fucking crazy and fast. So it's like
Everyone
you
on
mix
that
that
team
all
is hype.
together. Yeah,
Andre's talking shit in the corner somewhere.
yeah,
You got fucking Aaron Person just hitting threes from
yeah,
60 feet behind with the most insane form I've seen.
yeah. They
I like
out
it.
of all the
I
teams,
really.
I think they gelled very well though. Next to the Ducks, I think they gelled very well when they figured out offense isn't our key, defense is how we're gonna win games. And once they understood that mission, they got a lot better. They got a lot better.
Yeah, Andre
I want
Lloyd.
to say
Now that you
something though.
mentioned it, oh, go ahead.
Quick thing, because you mentioned it, and it made me mad all season. Because bro, Jerome is great offensively. We know that. We know who Jerome is going to be. He's unstoppable. No one can touch him. But on defense, he never gets back, and no other center gets back. So he had no reason to do that. So on defense, he's walking back, but so is the other center. So you never get to like take advantage of this. It sounds like Jose actually like took advantage of that, right? And he was
Yeah,
actually attacking him getting back, and they
yeah,
won. For anybody watching that, I think that's the secret to beating Jerome. You need to tire Jerome out, or he's gonna cook you, bro. You cannot.
yeah,
You're not gonna be able to attack him in the post. You can't
yeah,
just let him get the ball and he's gonna feast every single time. You just can't let that happen. You have
yeah,
to attack him. You have
yeah,
to make him get back on defense, or he's just gonna keep playing the same game he wants to play. And the Ducks are gonna keep winning. They're
yeah,
gonna win.
yeah.
That's all. That's all
I,
I would say.
Yeah,
I
the
agree
fast
with you,
breaks.
Tyler. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
The fast breaks were more against the Death Star. He wasn't really pulling that off as much versus the Ducks.
Pissing me off.
He tried. He
Pissing
tried.
me off even more.
He tried once, and he did airball it. But in the second game, in the championship game, he started making those shot attempts. But it is a similar story. Excuse me. It is a similar story though because the Death Star also has the heavier set big man who's on the lazier side and not getting back. So it is the same story. It just wasn't Jerome specifically that he was doing that to. But the Stampede are a fast break heavy team. They force a lot of turnovers and like to get in transition. Trey likes to run. Jalen likes to run. Their point guard likes to run, or at least I would call him their point guard. I feel like they kind of do the whole point guard thing by committee. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what beat them in my opinion. But it's similar case. But you were saying something.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say, like on that game, is like you're right, Tyler. When the game was fast, it definitely helped Stampede out because their big man wasn't coming back. The lanes were open. Jalen lives off fast breaks, and then you have two point guards who don't mind passing the ball to get the open man. You see Jalen; they throw him alleys. They do everything to kind of highlight him as the best player. But when the game did slow down, that's when the Ducks started like kind of. It was always a 10-point game. It was never more than that or never less than that. That was the score. So they would chip off, chip off, chip off. They'd get to around 3 to 5 points. Stampeding, running, and then literally we saw it fully manifest against the Death Star. We saw what a lack of good center play, and no offense because I love the Death Star, but what a lack of bad center play or lazy center play does to a team who's not ready to run. At that point, you might as well put five guards out if you're like the Death Stars or something like that, because you're giving up a liability on defense and getting back. And that's not just Death Star though. That's the heavier set people in the Ox League. Like that's a way you beat teams that are slow and lazy. You push the ball, you push the pace, you push the tempo, make them make mistakes, make them make turnovers. One person is not going to beat us, and that's what the Stampede showed you. And then on top of that, I do want to say something, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Number 99 on the Ducks, he took a lot of bad shots, shots that I'm not used to him taking. I know he's a difficult shot maker, but the shots weren't his shots that he usually is taking. That's a difficult shot. He was taking a lot of middies. He was trying to beat the guards off. The first his first step, and he wasn't able to do it. Like Nas alluded to. So that's a big thing there.
Yeah, I think a big
Yeah,
problem.
he went against a stellar defensive team.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a big problem in these leagues is always people get flustered. They don't like to see the other team doing well. And it's like, especially in a stopping clock situation, there is no lead you cannot overcome. When the clock
Not at all.
stops, there is no lead you cannot overcome, and that's why I hate to use the NBA as an example, but using that as my example, teams don't stop fighting until it's well within, away from reach. You know what I mean? And they don't consider it out of reach. Excuse me. They don't consider it out of reach until like the fourth quarter. Depending on what the deficit is, they might even wait till 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter to finally consider it out of reach.
Yeah.
So like in a stopping clock situation, there is no lead that cannot be overcome. But a lot of these players, they're not really used to that kind of situation. So like they get flustered, they start taking the wrong shots, and it's like one possession at a time. That's all it takes. One possession at a time. They slow it down, move the ball, get everybody involved. I tell people all the time when I'm giving my motivational speech to get people to move the ball, whatever the case is, whether it be my AAU teams or my adult teams, is like the only way you score is if your teammates are a threat to score. That's as simple as that.
Exactly.
If your teammate is not a threat to score, you are now an easy target, and now you will not score. Because now you are easy to help against, you are easy to double team because your teammates are not a threat to score. Make your teammates threats, and now you will get your 20-piece a lot easier. Make your teammates a threat to knock down that corner three, to get the ball off of a dump off in a pick and roll situation. Make them a threat to get the ball and put the ball in the hoop, and now they have to guard you one-on-one. Now the game is easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you do what you've been practicing. Take people on one-on-one, right? And a lot of these players, they go to that first instead of getting their teammates involved first. And that's where it all goes to hell. Now it's like they're taking quality shots, and now you're shooting long-ass threes, fadeaways, and all this, and all you hear is bink, 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 and all those long rebounds just lead to transition. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Bink, transition, dunk. Jalen just dunked on your ass. Bink, transition, Trey just hit a corner three. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like
It's real though.
Make me not want to play in the league, Nas.
Bro, it's real because the Ducks are playing a 4 and 5 fast break too. So it's not just that they're getting transition opportunities. They're also playing down because Jerome doesn't get back quick enough. Now what happens now? That's a guaranteed score.
Gotta get gotta play half court. They had to play half court. Because, and then the last thing I'll say, they had to play half court because their best player is a half court monster. Their point guard is a great passer, so put him in a half court situation where he can see everything that's going on. And they have good shooters and all that kind of stuff. They even have, and I apologize, the high flyer. I did forget his name. Daniel Lewis. He's a much better half court player. You know what I mean? With his ability to cut, his ability to get over the rim. They are a half court team, and half court forcing the ball into the post is what stops fast breaks. You 100%. Stop that fast break, the Stampede now don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. It's all about making better decisions out there. Instead of just, oh my God, we're done by 10. I got to shoot 5 threes so we can win this game. You know what I mean? Like, no, oh my God, we're down by 10. All it takes is a couple post-ups. We might get a 3 in that equation. We might get 2. We might get a layup. We might get 3 layups. And that's all it takes. Now, boom, it's a tie game. You know what I mean?
And you answer back defensively.
Exactly. You answer back defensively. But they get flustered. They see an 8-point lead, a 12-point lead, and it's like, God damn, I gotta shoot everything. I can't go down like this. It's like, bro, it's the first quarter. Like, can you keep playing?
Yeah, my AAU coach told me one thing that changed my whole perspective on basketball. And it was a big thing. He was like, "You think you're gonna be going to the next level because you know how to make a layup, you know how to dunk on a fast break? That shows me nothing. That shows me that you know how to run and jump. There's 500 other dudes that can do that way better than you. Maybe 5 million dudes. You got to know how to shoot. You got to know how to pass. And IQ is a big thing. And what Nas, I'm gonna kind of allude to what Nas says. Once you take that fast break to the Stampedes, who are the Stampede? A one-man show. Jalen with a bunch of non-shooters. No offense to their shooters, but they didn't have like a crazy three-point shooter on their team. But I did want to point out something because it's funny that you bring up Daniel Lewis. He was low key getting locked up by number 10 on the Stampede, the dude we were talking about with the mid range shots. He was low key to the lowest of keys getting locked up by him. Um, and it kind of showed. If you watch the video and stuff, he was guarding him. He was doing a really good job on defense. Number 10 in general on the Stampede played pretty good defense throughout like the playoffs in general. He
He's
took
played
less
great all
shots as
season.
well. Huh?
All season. All season. He's
Yeah,
played great. Aaron,
yeah,
played
yeah.
great.
He's a great wing
We
defender.
talked to him a lot, you and me.
Yeah, he's a great wing defender. And he kind of was he was taking a lot of shots. He dialed it back and just kind of focused on what the team needed, which was a good wing defender who can make an outlet pass. And he made a lot of good outlet passes, and I don't think we really talked about it enough to the point guards for them to get out down out there because he's not a slow wing. He's an athletic wing, and he kind of matched that for the Ducks. And I felt like that was always something the Ducks had up their sleeve was Lewis, and Lewis wasn't not saying that he had a bad game. It just wasn't the best Lewis game. He couldn't get downhill as much as he wanted to. He couldn't create as much as he wanted to. He couldn't dribble as much as he wanted to because Aaron was there on defense. And I forgot to shout that out. He played really great defense.
I have a question. We did MVP. After everything is said and done, who would you say was your best defensive player this year?
Mm. Like without playoffs or with the playoffs?
Anything. Let's do the entire season because we now have a full 7 games to talk about.
Man, I'm gonna let Nas go first.
I don't know.
Neither.
It's such a short period of time to really dissect if somebody is great defensively. Um,
So do it based off of what you've seen. Now ignore your normal criteria, what you've seen in front of you. That's 7
oh
games.
man, I mean it's tough. I mean,
I'm gonna go with Keaton Smith. Like if we're talking just regular season, um, blocks and steals, he led the league. If it's just that, but if it's the whole season, I might have to go Aaron now because we were talking so much about him. I might have to go him.
And it's gonna put him for 1 game. I hate you.
Nah, through the playoffs. Through the playoffs,
No, he's a great defender though. I'd be
Yeah.
lying if I said he wasn't.
I
yeah, I
don't know
mean,
who else would have
Right,
been a good
Nas.
defender on the Stampedes.
yeah, Keaton's the only one that comes to mind just because he's an overall defensive impact. The rebounding plays a big role. Most people just don't want to accept how important rebound is to defense. You know, it's not a defensive stop until a rebound is secured. Like you don't get credit for defensive stats until the ball is secured. Literally, that's how defensive stats work. So that's why rebounds are held to such a high standard in defensive conversations. You know, he's one of the he's a top shot blocker. He's a top steal getter. So like in such a short period of time to be able to impact the game in so many different defensive stats, I would have to say the defensive player of the year to me would have to be Keaton. I don't know if I've recognized somebody as a one-on-one ball stopper or star neutralizer. I don't know if I've recognized somebody to be that just yet.
Yeah, I don't think we saw anybody that could do that. I mean, not that there's no one capable. I think there's people like Lorenzo. I think Lorenzo's capable. I think the dude off the Stampede number 3, Trey, is capable. I think Jalen Merritt is capable. I think a lot of people are capable, but it's kind of hard, and it's always been hard for guard play to be a defensive, you know, winner. And it's usually the forwards or the centers. So to me, I mean, when I think about it, the only person I can think about is Keaton. He showed up the most. He was there every game. He averaged the most rebounds. Defensively, he averaged the most. Like I said, I'm gonna pretty much say the same shit over again. I don't want to say that, but yeah. And I don't mean to like I feel like people think we just stick on Keaton, but you guys got to go look at his stats. Like his stats match the shit that we're talking about. Like Nas
He
refers,
got
we're
MVP, bro. He won
yeah, like
MVP.
yeah, people in my DMs talking about this and that. Tooney talking about he's the real MVP because he played with a broken hand. My man's averaged the most rebounds, was number 3 in freaking points, and as well led the league in defense with steals and blocks. Like I don't know what league you play in where you lead in all those shits and you're not the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. There's not a league
So
in
the
the
NBA
world.
with Giannis. That's the only
Yeah,
one.
Giannis. Exactly. There's not a league that you're not the best player. And like it's the point contribution as well. Like he's doing so much on both sides. Like to me, he was the best player this season. I'm sorry his season got cut short. I would have loved to have seen him in some playoff action, but hopefully I can team up with him this year, next season.
Oh, I
Shameless
have another
plug.
question. But before we go into the question, Pluto, share your
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah, guys, I
Tell
am
everybody
going-
at home.
I'm coming out of retirement. I decided to actually play in the Ox League. It was so enjoyable. I think the level that the Ox League is at, and it's no shade to the Ox League, it's a great league to play in if you're trying to get yourself back in shape. If you're looking for some hardy competition, if you're looking real, like I mean, at the end of the day, that league was brothership. That's how I view that league. That league, I got to know a lot of people personally. I got to like a lot of people. So at the end of the day, like just to shout out the Ox League, I think that's a dope place for men to kind of share like time together, talk about life in general. Like it's pretty dope atmosphere, and that's why I decided to join. It's no shade to our other partners and other people that we work with because we love you guys too. But the talent level that you guys are at, I'm not in shape enough, and I'm not going to make myself look crazy. But at least in the Ox League, I can get myself in shape, and then whenever if I decide to join these other leagues or partner with them, it's there. But for right now, Ox League free agent, boy. Let's see who picks me up.
That's a lot. Whoever gets him gets guaranteed stats whenever we do them at the end of the season. So on recleague.net,
You're gonna
we'll throw in a couple threes every once in a while if you give him a pass. But I did have one other question. Last one. Oh, my bad. My lights. I have a question while I do this. We kind of did, like the awards. We talked about MVP. We briefly talked about Defensive Player of the Year. One other question. Clutch player. Who would you say was the most clutch player in the Ox League this year?
That's a good one.
Clutch
I got my answer.
player.
I would say that you guys should realistically have your answer. I would think, based off of
Yeah.
how many times we saw some stupid ass fucking last second 3-pointers at the end of games. You guys not
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
let you
Jeremy?
rock. Oh, that's not bad.
Who? What did you say?
Jeremy.
You don't think Jeremy was hitting some clutch shots all season?
No, I do not.
I gotta rewatch
Wow.
the tape.
How many games did they lose within 10 points?
So they still hit shots that they lost. I will say that.
No.
They still did hit clutch shots.
There has to
But
be
unfortunately-
a point deficit criteria for it to be a clutch shot.
Clutch by the NBA says a go-ahead basket within the last 5 minutes.
No, there's
So
a point.
I would
There is
say
a
I'm
point
not-
differential that they associate to it too. There is a point
They
differential.
don't.
You can't.
It's within 5 points. It's within 5 points.
Yeah, exactly. That's a point differential requirement. The Eagles aren't
No,
losing
I mean,
games by 5 points.
Yes, they were. Like very often.
So hell no, the Eagles were getting trashed left and
All
right.
right. Who's your clutch player?
I don't really know who my clutch player would be.
These are all off top, spur of the moment, so we have nothing prepared. So this
Yeah,
is just
I couldn't give you that one only because a lot of the games weren't decided in a lot of games weren't decided in the clutch. If I'm going anyone, I might go Tooney for the Ducks. I think he's a good clutch player. He had a lot of big time shots for them. And the Ducks had a lot of close games, closer than
Listen,
we thought
just to
at
prove my
times.
point,
Who's Tooney?
because I'm not letting this go. Just to prove my point, they did.
I
They
know.
Why not?
they won one game by 1 point. That is the closest they've ever gotten in a game. They lost the next game by 14. They lost the next game by 13. They lost the next game by 13 again, and they lost the last game of the season by 16.
That's 16-1. You can't tell me they didn't go on like a 10-minute run in the last couple minutes. You think that's
They did
possible?
not have a single clutch performance.
The last bit of the game, you don't think
Listen, if you're talking about difficult shot maker, Jeremy's top 3 without a shadow of a doubt. He might be number 1.
Sure.
But if we're talking about clutch, I don't know if the Eagles were ever in a clutch situation. They're getting their asses rolled. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put that out there. But I agree with Orlando. I don't think there's enough clutch situations in a 5-week season to say that this person's doing it repeatedly. It's too short of a season to give out something like that, in my opinion.
You got to
I
prove
think
it next
for-
season, then, everyone.
The GM5 definitely did have a guy. I think it was the dude. I forgot what team it was.
Hey,
He
we're
was
not
number
we not
3.
here to talk about GM5.
Oh, my
Moving
bad, my
on to
bad.
the
I'm
Ox
just saying-
League.
My bad. We had a long enough period to do
But
that.
shout
That's
out
what I was
TP,
trying
though.
to get at. That's what I was
Shout out
alluding at.
TP and shout out Josias. Shout out both of them.
And shout out everybody that pays us to do a job. But either way, I think it's sounding like that is going to be our wrap up here, right? Or do we have more questions, more concerns, violent reactions?
Oh, Nas,
I just wanna say one more thing.
This year, Nas, to the Ox League.
Oh,
I am. Yes, it is
Yeah.
official. The Volusia County Vipers Elite will be joining the Ox League for their upcoming season. It's I believe it's a season to test out new team owners, just to make sure that everybody, of course, gets all their payments in time, players show up, and none of the players are bad for the brand, all that kind of stuff. So they're doing a season to help gear up new teams for next season, because they're trying to expand their next season to a larger amount of teams, much more players at the combine, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to join that. We're going to prove ourselves, obviously, and then we hope to come back to the Ox League next season as well. But it doesn't really matter what season it is. All I know is we're leaving with the trophy. That's all that matters to me.
quick question. Pluto,
Hopefully I get picked up.
don't you have ties to Volusia? It's kind of crazy that you're not.
There's only, I
you're
mean,
free-
We won't be
You're
drafting.
Rob out there.
We won't be drafting this year.
Arizona,
This power's not gonna draft you.
unacclaimed.
He's bringing his own team. He's not gonna draft you. That's crazy.
It just all depends how Nas feels. I mean,
We
I
will
would
not
love
be
to play
drafting.
for the home city.
We have forfeited our right to draft. We are bringing our full roster, a capacity of 9 players. We are not drafting this year.
So, if you
I
can't born,
actually was reached out to join the Volusia Vipers.
Wow.
So
He
it's
was
kinda
not.
awkward, Pluto.
He was
That's
not.
a lie. That's a lie.
wow.
Don't let him lie to
Wow.
you at home.
I believe
The
it.
last
I
time
believe
Tyler
it.
played basketball was when he helped me move in and he dribbled the basketball that was in my garage. That is the last
When you
time.
guys get a chance, ask Nas about the last time I took his ankles. Ask him about the surgery.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. Hoop Talk, the podcast, is out once again. This is our last Ox League segment. If we have the opportunity to tap into their upcoming season, we'll do our best to show some love and to put some news out there and to stay tapped in. I, of course, will be there from beginning to end because my team will be playing. But if you enjoyed, watching the Ox League, man, make sure you follow them on Instagram. Make sure you show some love. They'll be back again in a couple of weeks for a small season. They'll be back again next year for their big season. Make sure you guys are tuned in and following all the news, all the updates, all that good stuff, so you know when it's time to sign up again, when it's time to start, trying to get in team owners' ears to try and get drafted, all that kind of stuff. It's a great league. It's a fun time. Like Orlando said, it's a brotherhood. They love each other. They enjoy playing with each other. And it's only going to get better every year. So don't get left behind. Follow them. Stay up to date. Follow us. Subscribe. Like. Comment. All that good stuff, man. Hoop Talk out. Deuces.
We're out.